you the link. We're welcoming everybody. Yes, we are live. Sending you the link here. Yep, I just sent the link to our group.
Perfect.
Okay. Oh yay, what's up? I see Chad, Patricia, Ye, Lei Lei. Alright, people are joining. Welcome. 大家晚安. Yeah. We'll be using mostly English tonight. So everybody get used to it. Alright. I know it's been a while since my last don't know when all English live stream. So it's been a while, but I think you should be able to understand us both. And here with me we have Dino, right? My Irish brother. Yes, yeah. We'll let Dino introduce himself later on, while I will introduce our story together, how I met him, how we met. Yeah, and I see Sammy, Wanda, Owen, Luna, Evan, and Lena. Yes, evening, guys. All right, if you're joining us from a different time zone, like Dino is, let us know. Owen, you said you miss me so much. Cool. Right, come join us. Join our class. Right. So Claire. Right, 大家晚安. All right. And I see live captions. Wow, that's cool. Especially when I'm using English, it just shows up. Yeah, I think I don't have that when I use Chinese. So that's
Wow.
cool. Yeah. Do you see live captions?
Me? Yeah. It's coming through now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking if it's that's fine. I hope it's not too disturbing. All right. So I also see Harlan, Arthur, Yulin, Mike, and we have about almost 80 audience members with us right now. Harlem said good night, but we're not sleeping yet. Sorry. So
Yeah.
evening, right?
Good evening.
I know you mean evening. Yeah, and so good evening everyone here in Asia, and good morning to Dino in the East Coast of the United
Yes.
States. All right, so hello everybody. Good local time. Welcome to our 英语沟通小学堂. So this is our weekly live stream session, and tonight or today I have a great guest who is my Irish brother,
Mm.
very good friend of mine, Dino, right? Or you may know him as Dean. Yeah, so you can call him Dean, Dino, or Dino 老师. Right. So, yeah. So I think who okay, so how many of you have read my posts introducing Dino? You leave a comment and let me know.
I have. I've read them. They're very, very sweet. I was like, wow. I was
Oh,
blushing. It was so nice.
I don't know, your Chinese is so good now.
I just pressed the C translation button. And
Oh,
it's
okay. Okay. Yeah, you're good at using tools, use technology.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so more and more people are joining us. Almost we're approaching 100. Let's get started. Right.
Nice.
Right. So feel free to leave any comments and let us know if you have any questions, especially for Dino, because we have this new business English course coming up, and it's going to be mostly English, all English, and it'll be a live streamed course, right? A weekly course here at Taiwan How. Right. So welcome everybody, and let's get started. So
Yep.
it's 2022, and we've known each other for almost 8 years.
Wow. It's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? Like time flies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I just first got to know you, it was the first year. I mean, just the first few days you came to Taiwan,
Yeah.
right? Right,
Yeah.
and as people, some of the audience members know that you're originally from Ireland and Dublin, the city, the capital.
Yes.
And so, would you tell everybody, share with everybody why you chose Taiwan out of all those great places you can choose? Especially, it's after your journey to Australia.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of the most common questions I get asked, and that is like, why did you come to Taiwan? And I think a lot of my, people that I meet, they are quite surprised that I'm in Taiwan. But actually, there's a good reason for it, and that is my sister. She used to live in Taipei, and she studied Chinese at Shida. So she had that experience of living in Taiwan and Taipei. So she recommended Taipei to me. She said, you can teach English and you can also learn Chinese, and it would be a good challenge for you. And so I felt like, having spent around 2.5 years enjoying the beautiful, weather and beaches of Western Australia, I definitely did not want to go back to Ireland, unfortunately. So I just went straight to Taiwan from Australia. I didn't even go back to Ireland. I just went boom, just straight to Taiwan, and that was around 7.5, 8 years ago, which is it's crazy to think now. But yeah,
Mm,
that's when, and then we met on, I think it was my first or second week. I met you, and we did like an acting job together, and we
yes.
worked on that, and
Yeah.
the rest is history.
Yeah. I will share with everybody how good you are because Dino was really good at acting because the role was an American guy and he had to be an Adam, you know. So he had to kind of put on this American accent in the commercial, and he has had to introduce himself as everybody. Hi, I'm Adam, and he has to be very casual and easygoing, kind of character in that commercial. And we didn't use a lot of takes. I think it was just a few takes, and it was
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it was
remember
great.
it was summer because it was. I remember it was quite a hot day, but yeah, the job was done pretty quickly. I mean,
Yeah,
with the team, the crew, and of course your efficiency. So it was a happy experience working together. That was how we met because my translation client was looking for some actors, and then I found Dino. Sorry, so it's a very great first opportunity for us to work together already, right? And then
yeah,
so I was kind of your agent. I hope I was.
yeah.
I hope I was an okay agent.
You were very good. You were very good, mate.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's why we became friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great. It's great. And then, yeah, so before you came to Taiwan, you went to Australia. And were you teaching in Australia already? Because it was after your MBA,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. So I finished. I did my MBA in Ireland, then got a job working for a local sports governing body um, in their marketing department, marketing and events department. Finished that after around 2 years. Like I said, I went to Australia, and I actually did a working holiday visa in Australia, which was great fun. Working on a farm in Australia, which was really interesting. But also did some part-time tutoring and teaching on the side as well in Australia. So I still had that early on experience from teaching in Australia. So preparing a lot of foreign nationals for IELTS examinations
Mm,
through the Australian, government and immigration services. But mainly, in Australia was more kind of like just enjoying life, traveling
mm,
around,
mhm.
working as well, and then came to Taiwan after that. So yeah,
So you have to actually have taught students from all over the world almost, because
yeah.
when you were in Australia, you're teaching, and I'm sure it was not just for the Chinese speaking students who were working hard on the English language exams, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was many, many different nationalities, Chinese, Japanese, Indian, Middle Eastern clients and students. So yeah, I think I've got like a good base of experience, teaching a wide variety of students over the years. And so I think I can best serve, my Taiwanese students, because I've been teaching Taiwanese, Chinese and Japanese students the most over the last, say, 5 or 6 years.
Do you see any challenges in common from your students?
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to say Taiwanese students, I know there's always going to be cultural differences, and we talk about cross-cultural issues and differences nowadays because of obviously we've had COVID and that kind of thing, and
Mm,
travel has been restricted. But in terms of like say students and students learning, a lot of common attributes or things that I see from my time with students is confidence. I know confidence is a huge factor, and I know a lot of
I
my
totally
students,
agree
they
with you.
right, like they do have the knowledge, they have the effort, but when it comes to that final piece of the puzzle, I guess we could say is the confidence to speak up. And
Mm,
so that's exactly what this course is all about.
mm,
It's about learning and gaining that confidence to speak up, and having the self assurance that they can speak up in a meeting, give that presentation, or ask a difficult question to their
hmm
boss, and kind of be that little bit more direct and outgoing, to
hmm
use the kind of English language learning in their everyday
Yeah.
their
I
lives.
think I think they do. I mean, the students in general, or learners, English learners in general, they need this reassurance from the teachers or the instructors, or especially for you as a native speaker, especially to let them know that they are communicating fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they will be so uncertain about their own expressions, and they're not sure if foreigners, right? So they always use this word, right? Foreigners can understand them, right?
Yes.
Because they're not really sure. And then I think that's the first step. And then it gets to the point where they need some guidance for especially cross-cultural communication, because in my class, interestingly, I often need to pretend that I'm a native English speaker instead of a Chinese speaker. So I need to pretend that I don't understand some parts of the communication, because I can understand them through the Chinese logic sometimes, but I
Right.
know it's not gonna work in English, right? So
Yeah.
that's where you will come into play and let them know how to communicate well with people from different parts of the world, right? Do
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
do you have some maybe experience or ideas to share?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I think there's some students like recently they kind of worry a little bit too much about certain words or certain things to say, like should I say this? Is this okay to say? And sometimes they get a little bit caught up on focusing on, is this the exact right thing to say, or should I
Yes.
say that? And
Mm,
sometimes most of the time I'll just tell my students, guys, listen, this is what you've said is actually fine. And I feel like you don't have to spend so much time worrying about what it is that you're saying. If
mm,
you can be understood and if it makes sense, go with it, and be confident in saying that and using that. Right. So, and then when it comes to say like more of their jobs, or personal cases, I'll ask them to like, oh, show me some of your emails that you've done or you've written, and we'll go through those and work those together. So focusing on the emails is slightly a little bit different, because we always need to be that little bit more professional. So that's where some
mm.
students might get a little
Yeah,
bit stuck
yeah, yeah.
with the emails, but I
That's a
think in
very good
general.
point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, the other day, a student just asked me how to write longer sentences in an email. I just asked her to show me her email, and she just wrote "thank you," and that's all for the email. I was like, okay. I said you can probably say thank you for your assistance or thank you for
Right.
your help. It actually depends on what you want to express, because semantically they're different. I mean, thank you and
Yeah.
thank you for your support, or I appreciate your assistance. They
Yeah.
mean different things. And yeah, and then I brought in the idea of different linguistic register. Yeah, so some of more business or professional side of English for
Yeah.
them to get some sense of what it's like, because they I think for many students, they just think that, hey, maybe there's this one book. I can just read it and understand what business English is all about. But I think business English is actually quite dynamic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it's evolving just like any language, right? Because people use the language differently in different parts of the world, right? So,
Yes.
for example, do you see some interesting usage or interesting expressions in business English? Because I'm sure you're going to cover them in your
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, like absolutely. Like I touched before on cross-cultural differences, and I think the point that you just made, mate, is like I couldn't agree more. Is that I think a lot of my students, they just want a one book that just fits everything. They learn that, and then boom, they're
And
ready
that's
to
our
go.
book. No.
And
Hey
that's our
guys,
book.
actually we have published a book, right? So check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's perfect, like available in all good retail stores and
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
The shameless plug. I love it. So I think, yeah, like I mean, there's while there are many textbooks, I think when it comes to business English, like you said, mate, it is very dynamic. It's a fast-paced moving environment, and the language learning based on that business industry is always evolving. And so I think when it comes to business English, it's about taking what we've learned and putting it into practice. And kind of learning by trial and error. So a lot of my students, they may
Mm,
have, international clients. They may have, now they may start having more and more business trips. And so I
mm,
think by basically trial and error, by making mistakes on business trips, by making mistakes in certain, environments or interactions, through those mistakes, you will learn. And so in the course, we'll cover some of those cross-cultural differences. I'll be answering questions from you guys, the students, on some of your experiences in the past. And I'll also invite and expect you guys to ask me questions about, how best to, solve certain situations, or what would I do in those situations based on my experience, because I know I've made many, many mistakes in the past, and my previous both teaching, but also as well in my businesses that I've started in the past, but also working for employers, and,
mm.
and how difficult it can be to work in an office environment and dealing with many, many different people.
Yeah. Yes, very good points. And I see some comments, and I also see 展荣展瑞
Hey, hi
say hi.
guys. 展荣,好久不见.
Yeah, and also some people are saying hi to Dino 老师.
Oh, hi
Yes.
guys. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. We welcome questions. And now it's more like a Q&A session now. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Some people are asking, is my background up? Yes. Yes, it's from
Ah,
the animation Up. I love it.
great
Yeah.
movie.
Owen said, Howard and Dino conversation, I totally understand. Okay, good to know.
It's good.
Good job. You can understand us. It's great. Yeah, for questions about or concerning this comment, it just reminds me of some emails we just received in the past few days. Some students, potential students, they are quite concerned about their own English level. They're worried that whether they can make it or they can understand you in the course. And I think this live stream is great for them
Yeah,
because,
absolutely.
yeah, I think we're quite understandable.
Yeah, like I think if like absolutely, I think if you guys can understand our live stream now, the
Hmm.
class that I'm going to teach, it's not going to be much different. It's not going to be much like more difficult or anything like that. So I think if you can pretty much understand our live stream, your level should be good enough for the class to join. So I think guys don't worry too much about, in preparations for the class or your level. There's always going to be that slight difference between students' levels within a class. It's my job
Mm,
then to kind of join you guys together, connect all the levels, and make sure that everyone understands our topics.
yeah. And let's now talk about your business English class here in Taiwan How, because it's going through many weeks, and you have set the topics for workplace, money, change, and also there are some case studies and presentations, travel as well. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's quite versatile, I would say. I mean, the topics are quite diverse and
absolutely.
all inclusive.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it's a diverse course over the spanning over 8 weeks. And so there are different real world case studies that we will look at. So some of big companies, what they do right, or maybe what they don't do right. And also as well, I've said it before, but I also invite a lot of students to get involved. So this is the kind of class that I offer would be a semi-structured class. So
Mm,
for example, we do have some great materials that I've put together and I'll share with you guys, but also enjoy the conversation around
mm,
these topics and getting to know what you guys think about the information or the topics that we are learning. And so by expressing yourselves, that in itself will help prepare you for those workplace or business interactions. So you'll be able to feel more comfortable with speaking up with it, whether it's in a group or on a one-on-one setting. So the course itself will vary from over those 8 weeks. And so each week will have a different topic, like Howard said, like money, branding, workplace interactions. That's going to be a huge one. We also will have some little exercises and activities to do, but don't worry, it's not too much homework, but it's just some little activities to keep you sharp, keep you fresh for the following week. So yeah, it's a really exciting course and it's quite diverse. So it's not going to be the exact same thing every
mm,
week. So it'll always
mhm.
be changing.
Yeah, and also a little tip for all the students there. Dino is actually quite good at Chinese, especially when you chat with him about food. Right, so 珍珠奶茶,小笼包. He's super good in this. He's super good at this, right?
Yeah,
So
Romian.
牛肉面, yeah. So okay. Also, you can feel free to leave your comment in Chinese, and I can translate them. You know. So yeah. Joey asks, "Is it only for adults?"
Yeah, I would say it's probably based or catered or targeted for those students who perhaps are, they could also be in university. So a university student who's
Mm,
preparing to graduate, to leave,
mm,
and who knows, or maybe a student who's working part-time at a company where you would plan to use English or are using English. I think obviously it's not suited for, say, children or maybe
mm,
high school. It's probably a little bit too advanced for them. But if you are in a university, if you're a university student or you're planning to graduate quite soon or recently, this course would also be very, very well suited to you who, you're looking to kind of, I guess we would also say level up or enhance your English for the workplace and business interactions.
yeah, I received similar questions before, and it's more for some kids and their parents who want their kids to be exposed to some TOEIC like or business settings English. But I think my concern as a teacher for them would be they don't really have this work experience, right, or
Mm.
workplace experience. So some of the topics we're covering might be too far away from their life experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think because like they may not have the experience to share, right? They may not have it to kind of to share in the first place. So it may be difficult for them to really get the most out of the class. So I think, yeah, definitely more so suited for university level and up and above. Yeah.
And I see a great comment complimenting Dino 老师. She Wan Chen Li said Dino is a good teacher with patience for Taiwanese
Mm.
students. I'm sure he is a teacher with patience, and not just for Taiwanese students, but for all his students. Right? So thank you for the comment.
Thank you,
All
Wan
right.
Chen Li.
Yeah. Thank you both. No problem, Joey. All right. Any other questions? We welcome questions. 跟大家聊聊天. Right. And also, I know some of you here are listeners of 全球串联早安新闻. I have to
Mm.
tell you that Dino is also one of our listeners. He's training his Chinese listening. You see how diligent he is, right? So, right. So let's see.
Yeah, it's an amazing show, by the way. Even though may not understand all of the Chinese, I will go back and maybe kind of, Google Translate some of the key learning words. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah, some part of it is, my chit chat, my chit chat with my co-host, but some parts are quite serious and very actually very serious. Yeah, so global news. I'm glad you enjoy it. All right, so let's see. We have some more questions. Jamie said, "Cool." All right.
That's it, guys. Don't be afraid to ask questions, whether it's in English or Chinese. If it's Chinese, we also have the master of interpretation himself with us, so he will translate or interpret it to me. And so yeah, don't be shy. Feel free to comment and ask any questions that you might have.
Oh yeah, we see a new question here from Chen Ting. He's asking, will students have access to video replay after each class? We'll have that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So students will have a chance to, for most of the materials, I'd like to provide some of the materials like in advance before each class, to give you guys a chance to just have a little brief look about what we plan to learn in each class. And then also post class, we will then also I'll provide any links and materials for you guys to rewatch and to catch up on some of the information again, because while it's great to have a look at something once, we also learn so much more by going back and rewatching something again and again. And it's funny because I'm actually the same. If I watch a movie and I see it a second time, I think, oh wait, I didn't see that the first time. Did you? Like I'm always questioning, like, I didn't see that the first time. Or if I watch it, a second or third time, it's like, oh wow, I don't remember that part. So there's always something that we may not learn or pick up the first time. So yeah, absolutely. In answer to your question, there will be a chance to rewatch the materials and videos. Sure.
Yes, definitely. A new question here from Yichen. Hello, Howard and Dean. I want to ask how to cultivate the ability to speak foreign accents, for example, American accents. Okay, so Yichen wants to know how to speak with a particular accent, how to train
Yeah.
himself or train everybody in general
Yeah.
about how to have one accent. And yeah,
What do you think, mate? Firstly, yeah, what's your take? What's your take?
obviously I train myself to have a rather American accent when I'm speaking English, but I always joke that I have a very Taiwanese accent because I'm Taiwanese. So
Yes.
yeah, so definitely, it's just you focus on one accent and you absorb. I mean, you immerse yourself in an environment where you get a lot of materials in that accent, and you will speak more like them. And that's my top tip for you. So choose one accent that you really like or you think you can master, and then the rest is hard work. Or you can always enjoy the materials that you choose. They can be more like some entertainment materials, like TV series or movies or even songs, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, for songs, I think yeah we do have a lot of materials for American accented songs. Yeah, but for other accents, probably not so much, from my knowledge. Yeah, so that would be from me. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. I agree. And then also to add, I would say like the best way that you can pick up an accent is kind of just putting yourself in that environment. So if it's a British accent that you want, go to England, go to Scotland, go to Wales. If it's an Irish accent that you want, go to live in Ireland somehow, get Irish friends. Really immerse yourself in the accent, and that's the best way, right? I think we can all agree, by living there, by having those daily interactions. Second from that, then, if it's something that you can't go to live in that country, if you want an American accent but you feel like you can't create the opportunity for yourself, well, then there are so many materials that we can have, to learn, to listen to watch, to learn online. And it's also then about, like, listening a lot, but then using it as well, not just listening and never speaking it. We also must speak it. So I think also as well, like about the repetition of familiarizing ourselves with that accent. And like nowadays Netflix is changing the game when it comes to subtitles, and that's Netflix is crossing those cultural issues. It's also crossing countries. And an example of that would have been Squid Game recently over the last couple of months. That was a global phenomenon or explosion. And so when we have materials and resources like that, I would say use them, guys. Pick an accent if it's something. A lot of my students recently like the British accent. They find that it is maybe quite more refined compared to an North American accent. So for that, I would say go and look at TV shows that you enjoy watching based on your interests and hobbies. Follow YouTubers, have a look at some podcasts. There are so many podcasts out there designed or with British accents. Look at these YouTubers, look at these podcasts, follow them. And when it comes to social media, guys, have like English learning as a big percentage of your social media, right? It's great for entertainment, and it's great to look at pictures about what people are eating. But if you want to learn, surround yourself with as many English language learning as possible, and kind of make it as part, because we do spend so much time on social media. So kind of design it or tailor it for yourself to make it easier.
There was a period in my English learning curve where I subscribed to so many English sources on my Facebook and Instagram feed, and then I just stopped watching them because it was too much. But then I found a balance, luckily.
What I would say is just to kind of to progress on from that, like a lot of us, myself included, with Chinese learning, I subscribe to all these Chinese YouTubers, and I think, oh, that's great, I'm subscribed. Now my Chinese will get better, right? It's kind of like it's a relief.
I've done my part.
I've done my part. I've clicked the button. But actually it's also key to follow YouTubers or people that teach these topics, but ones that you enjoy, and it's about enjoying. Don't force yourself to learn something that you don't enjoy. The key is finding something that you enjoy first. And if that person is a good YouTuber or a podcaster, follow them. So follow just a small number of those, and that will really help.
Yeah, I totally agree, because I always tell my students too that I want them to find a model speaker or some model speakers they like, who they aspire to talk like or speak like. So finally, they will find your own voice. And I think that's the most important thing for learning a foreign language, in terms of either speaking or writing or both. Because, finding one's own voice is the most important thing. Because before that, we have been, I think, we have spent most of our time learning the language and imitating our model speakers or model writers. But then after so much practice, it's time. We have our own voice and have to express ourselves freely. And that's the purpose for learning the language.
Absolutely, right? To speak, to get it out there, to speak freely, and just to be yourself as well. Like, I mean, it's definitely 100% about like imitation, like learning that accent, learning how we can speak like that. But then you're also your own individual. Everyone is unique. Everyone will have their own different accents. So again, what I would say is don't get caught up on trying to be a certain type of person who speaks like that. There's a natural Taiwanese accent that will come into play. So don't beat yourselves up, but the main thing is to have the confidence to express yourself in interactions.
And more than anything, I think for a lot of occasions there are so many different ways, so many different expressions to express similar ideas, right? So we learn to be flexible. We learn to be always learning. So I think that's the spirit.
Nice.
All right. And finally, we I think we can end on a interesting question. So Jones is asking if there is any special trait in or of Irish accents.
It's a great question, and it's a difficult one to give out like one answer. Like, I think I spoke recently about this on Clubhouse with some friends from like Leeds Mai and some other guys like Danny from A to Z English Tutor, and we were talking about accents, and it's hard because in Ireland we do have so many like regional accents within Ireland as a country and Ireland as a whole. So my accent would be, I'd say it's quite a soft Dublin accent. Dublin itself has two main accents. Like we would kind of typically associate it with the working class accent and the more upper class accent as such. So there's kind of those two accents within Dublin itself alone. When you move out then into the countryside, the accent gets a lot stronger, a lot harsher, a lot thicker, and people don't open their mouth. So they will just murmur, and they will murmur the accent, and they will kind of just drop off at the end of a sentence. So you kind of think like, wait, what was that? What did you say at the end? Oh, I didn't get that. Okay, so to be honest, it's hard to give an answer to that because there's so many accents within Ireland. I think I'd say probably we have at least a good 4 or 5 main accents. I think, there's a guy, what's his name? The Irish actor, Michael Fassbender. So Michael Fassbender has...
he's Irish?
He's Irish. You didn't know?
I always thought he's German, sorry.
Oh my goodness. Heartbroken.
I just learned. I live and learn.
Okay, so we used to be friends, guys. We used to be friends. But no,
what about him?
he is in fact Irish, and his accent is also it's from the south of Ireland, from Kerry. It's a southern Irish accent, but again, because he spent a lot of time in the US and he's an actor, he has refined his accent to be more understandable for the wider global audience. But then again, you do get strong accents. Another one would be Conor McGregor, the kind of the UFC fighter who hasn't fought in a while, but that's quite a strong Dublin accent, and we would call that. So that would be like a kind of stronger North Dublin working class accent. So a lot of strong D's and T's and very strong intonations on that one. So, and then if you work north up to the north of Belfast, it's a completely different accent in itself. And we spoke before going live, mate, about the movie Belfast.
Yeah.
Quite a personal touch on a war related themed movie. And that accent is in itself is very different from a Dublin accent. So by watching these movies, guys, and following these accents, whether it's through YouTubers or movies, will give you a great sense of the Irish accent. But there is no one general one Irish accent, unless it's the received pronunciation that you hear on the news, like whether it's RTE News or the BBC. Those would be the RP accents.
Lovely. It's always great learning more about the Irish cultures from you, mate, because Dino has been organizing Irish nights here in Taipei over the past few years, and I learned so much through the events, through him. Yeah, so I hope more and more of you can also join his class and learn more from him, right? So join
absolutely.
Dino's business English class here at Taiwan How, and that's it for tonight and this morning for Dino in Pennsylvania. All right, so we're happy to have you guys. 谢谢大家. All right.
Thank you, guys. 谢谢大家. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments and I'll try and get back to them post live service.
Cool. All right. So until next time, take care. All right. See you guys.
Thank you, guys. Look forward to seeing you in the class. 谢谢.
Bye.